One, two, three, four. What up, y'all? Babylon 5 podcast. How are you guys doing? It's your boy, Jermaine Babbles. As you guys should know, if you didn't hear me there, it's your faithful host, Jermaine Babbles, here for episode 40. Babylon 5 podcast, Streets on Fire. You know why it's Streets on Fire? Because I've been meaning to name probably the last 5 episodes Streets on Fire. Like, after the episode will come out, that song will pop in my head. Streets are on fire tonight. Death is on tip of tongue. Dangers at the tip of fingers. Streets are on fire tonight. That song there, like, when I think about this fucking COVID-19 and then that song pops in my head, I'm like, shit, like, how is Lupe already on this? Like, because it's like, that's why, like, when like Ebola was happening, everybody, like, well, when this happened, everybody had the same that they felt about Ebola. Probably pretty much every, like, new wave of disease was like that. But then this was like, what's the verse? Disease, the virus is spreading in all direction. No safe zone, no cure, and no protection. No symptoms define the sign of an infection. No vaccine, remedies, and no corrections. Quarantines the dreams and seal off the connection. Dog, this is Lupe, all right? Back when, like, this album came out, I think 2008, definitely. When this album came out, it was either 2008 or 2007 when it came out. This was the day that I had my very first performance, like performing hip-hop music. What song did I did? I performed the song Floyd Mayweather. That was the one song I performed for, like, an Afton bullshit-ass show where you pay them niggas to perform, and if you can sell tickets, then you can make money back. But, yeah. That was my very first time performing live. It says 2007 that came out. So that was the first time I ever performed live. It was the same day that album came out. And I know that it was the same day the album came out because my nigga Theriton, Trey Du Bois, was like, he came to the show and he seen me over there with my CD player listening to fucking Lupe. And he's like, bro, why ain't you listening to your song getting ready for the performance? Why are you listening to this? And I'm like, it's just too hot. This album is just too hot. I couldn't even, like, pull myself away from the Lupe album to prepare for my own show. That's how hot that Lupe album was. But you just heard what I just said there. So, like, as I'm hearing that song pops in my head, and with everything that's going on, I'm like, dude, Streets on Fire. Like, this shit, disease, the virus spreading in all the like, he just goes off. Like, I'm gonna give you niggas the social medias. If you niggas want the social medias. Did you niggas want the social medias? Yeah, you niggas want the social medias. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter, go ahead and follow at Babylon5Pod. If you want to follow my personal account, it's at my name's Jermaine. If you want to follow this podcast, if you want to email the podcast, it's Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can stream this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, nigga, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. If you niggas got Xbox One, if you feel, you know what? I was sitting here, this is how lame I am. I'm feeling like an old man. I'm 30, but I'm feeling like an old man because, I ain't even see. I got this in the background. I made this King of the Welterweights tournament for UFC 3. I got it going on. First fight was Leon Edwards versus Darren Till. It's just simulated fights. Leon Edwards won by second round TKO, did a head kick. Damian Maia submitted Donald Cerrone in the second fight to advance the fight. Leon Edwards Still in the first round here. So his first round submission, he did an armbar. I didn't even see what just happened here, but apparently I had Colby Covington versus Thompson. It says it was a first round submission for Colby, which hell yeah. I don't have damage going to the next round. I'm a big Colby stan. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Colby fan. So that's pretty hype. All right, let's go. Next fight is Woodley versus Lawler. So the winner of this fight would go on to face Colby Covington. I don't know what I was babbling about. Oh yeah. So this is how much of a fake that I am. I didn't know that there was new systems coming out this year. I didn't know there was new gaming consoles coming out this year. I thought I've been hearing things about like some like Google Aria type shit. I'm pretty sure Nintendo just dropped some shit, but I didn't know that like PS5 and all that shit was coming out until all of a sudden I seen these memes of black dudes with old white ladies talking about like PS5 secured. I didn't know it was a thing until I saw that, and I was like, oh shit, this is coming out in months. Maybe I should sell my fucking Xbox. You know what I'm saying? I should sell my Xbox at this point. This is what I'm thinking. Damn, I did just get... No, I can't sell it, because I just got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I haven't played it since that first time. I guess Sunday. I streamed Sunday. My wife is at work right now. She's back at work. She's happy. She's out with Hannah, who did my Vegeta tattoo. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you saw the latest Dragon Ball Super manga, my boy Vegeta just used instant transmission to teleport to Earth to save Goku, to save the planet Earth, to fight that nigga Moro, all right? To fight the evil spirit that's out here destroying, eating the life force of the universe. My nigga Vegeta just mastered instant transmission, or more accurately, I think, would be instant teleportation in the matter of minutes. They told him about it, and then he mastered it. That's how it happened. Because he's a prodigy built off hard work, my nigga. My nigga. And my favorite day of every month, I look forward to it, is manga, the day that the Dragon Ball Super manga comes out. So 6/20, I'm super hype for Vegeta versus Moro. All right, I want to know what new abilities fucking Vegeta has. He's been training with the Yardrats. All right. He's been training with the Yardrats, mastering shit, learning shit that Goku didn't even fucking learn about. All right? He's been out there. He's so fucking confident right now. He could feel from the planet that he was on, like certain niggas couldn't sense where, like certain niggas on Earth couldn't really sense where Moro was, even though Moro was just on his spaceship, not too far from them. But then Vegeta, all the way on the planet with the Yardrats, was like, nah, I don't have to leave yet. He's still on his spaceship. So he's way more powerful than Goku, who was just getting stomped the fuck out. All right? Way more powerful than Goku, who was just getting stomped the fuck out by Moro. I'm hype. Nigga, I'm hype. Can't wait for 6/20, nigga. Can't wait. Vegeta versus Moro. So, if you niggas got an Xbox, I'm not gonna sell it because I just got the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, so I'm gonna keep streaming, but I'm definitely gonna buy like a new system. I was looking up some comparisons of the PS5 and the Xbox X Series, and I don't know yet. I didn't finish watching the video. It was pretty boring, but but I'll make a decision. And yeah, if you niggas got Xbox One, go ahead and add your boy. My gamer tag is SauceBoss414. You can check out my merchandise. It's teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. If you niggas want to watch me playing with myself, it's twitch.tv/Babylon5pod. Go ahead and follow me over there. And you can go ahead and be my patron. Why not? Go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod. If I were you, I would head over there right now, you know? But who knows, you know? That's just me trying to give you some advice, some sage advice from this podcast. 40 episodes deep. All right, I'm in you. 40 episodes deep. Trying to give you some advice. Go ahead and be a patron. I don't know. I haven't done an I Digress. How about this? First patron I get, I'm gonna upload a new I Digress. No, you know what's crazy? I got other reasons. I don't even feel like talking about them right now, but there's other reasons why I'm not I'm not doing an I Digress currently. But we'll see. Maybe an I Digress in a few weeks. Maybe a new I Digress in a few weeks. But go ahead and be patrons. Patreon.com/Babylon5pod. All right? Take a little sip here. Started to get a little choked up there. So, I don't always talk about professional wrestling here. And I guess it's mainly because I don't watch it anymore, you know? Like, I'll still, like, read an article here and there, but I don't, like, watch it. Like, I'll get notifications on my phone, like because of Bleacher Report. Like, this happened. I'm like, oh, I don't even know. Like, half the time, I don't even know who half these names are because I don't watch it. So, like, I thought when I started this podcast, I thought I would incorporate some wrestling, but I haven't really been watching wrestling at all, you know? As I've said, like, when I was in high school, I pretty much, like stopped watching it toward the end of high school, and then maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I started to like pick it back up. I tried. I don't know why. I was just like, I think it was just like, I think I said here when like Monday nights when I was working at Kelly's Market in Madison, I had Mondays off, or I had Monday evenings off. And everybody else was either working or like, no one else was home on those Monday evenings. And I was just always bored. And I was like, I wonder what's going on with Monday Night Raw. I ain't seen this shit in a minute. And I remember I put it on and I was like, it's the same niggas here. How is it the same niggas here? This is like fucking Days of Our Lives. It was Triple H or some shit. Same niggas. But then I seen that nigga Bray Wyatt and I was like, oh, these niggas kind of cool. So I started to try to pick it up again. You know, I say this because recently, former wrestler Shad Gaspard, former tag team member of the tag team Crime Time, you know, just recently passed away. At age 39, he passed away. Let me repeat that. Shad Gaspard, member of Crime Time, former WWE tag team, dead at the age 39. He drowned while swimming with his 10-year-old son. Apparently, from the article that I read, they got caught up in a rip current. Not too familiar what that means. I can't even swim, to be honest with you, so I would not be caught dead in any water because, well, I would be caught dead in water because I can't swim. That's a little insensitive. I'm so sorry. Jesus Christ. So apparently from the article that I read, so they were caught up in a rip current. The lifeguards came to rescue them. They got to Gaspard first, Shad Gaspard, but he was with his 10-year-old son, so he directed them to save his son first and then come back for him. And they got to his son. They were successfully rescued his son, but apparently another wave came and he went under, and he wasn't seen again until his body washed up ashore, maybe about 20 hours later. So unfortunately, Shad Gaspard, former professional wrestler of WWE, passed away. He was in random as fuck. I remember when he was in Crime Time when I watched, and I went back and watched, like, just because I was a hip hop fan, 50 Cent's Wanksta video, and he's like the doorman in Wanksta. Like I think he walks up to like a store or something. Maybe it's like a club where it's like a big ass nigga when he walks up, and that's Shad Gaspard in the Wanksta video, who unfortunately drowned this weekend. And if you're unfamiliar with professional wrestling, when a wrestler passes, to honor them, to acknowledge the passing, they do what I'm gonna do right now, which is 10-bell salute for my man Shad Gaspard. All right. Yeah. Rest in peace, Shad Gaspard. Nothing but good vibes out to his family. I'm not sure the situation with the mother there, but man, nothing but good vibes out to them. Let me see. I'm trying to look at the waves to see. Oh, it looks like it wasn't like super loud. I don't know. I'll try to listen back to that and see how loud that was. Wasn't sure, but I wanted to do the 10-bell salute at the end of my wrestling talk, but then as I was watching highlights about Shad, it wasn't necessarily a knock on Shad, but I was like, holy fuck, let me do this before I talk about wrestling. So, you know what's crazy to me? So I used to watch wrestling like all the time when I was a kid. Like, I know my dad watched wrestling. He'd have his friends over. They'd watch wrestling. The nickname they gave me was Jake the Snake Roberts, simply because my name starts with a J, you know? Just that simple. So, like, I had always watched wrestling. I grew up, it was always on. And as I got older and people would know that I watched wrestling, the one thing they would always say to me is, like, you know it's not real, right? And as I go back and watch these Crime Time highlights, I watch these Crime Time highlights and people are like, oh, you know it's not real. I'm like, nigga, are you crazy? Why was that the one thing you motherfuckers said to me? Why didn't you motherfuckers say to me, yo, that shit's fucking the most ridiculous shit I've ever fucking seen. It's basically the Alex Jones of its time. My nigga, this, as I'm watching these highlights, and it's not even a knock on Crime Time. Crime Time's gimmick is that they're two black people from Brooklyn, and they'll hustle you, they'll rob you, and they wear Timberlands and baggy clothes. That's their fucking gimmick. Whatever. But the thing, I'm like, all right, that's super offensive. Every gimmick there is super offensive. You have the Mexicans, whose whole gimmick is that they're Mexicans and they're not lazy. The whole thing is, it's like, how is this not shut down? All right? When I look back on it, it's like, holy fuck. Why was the one thing you guys said to me, you know it's not real? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know it's not real. You should be talking about, yo, that's trash. You should be like, bro, don't be watching that trash TV. That is trash. All right? Do you know what I saw? Do you know what I saw? I had to show my wife, all right? Because I was so disgusted. And I used to watch this shit. And I just didn't know what I watched at the time. But you motherfuckers only said to me, you know it's not real. So maybe that was the only aspect of it that really, like, I knew that it wasn't real. It was in the news repeatedly. They kept putting out press releases like, yo, it's a predetermined ending. This is not like a real competition. It was constantly put out in the news, press releases, but people kept resisting it. I was fully aware of that. So, like, I didn't care that people were saying that. What people should have been saying to me was like, dude, that is trash television. Turn it off. It's nothing but trash. All right, so I explained their gimmick. There's another character there who, when I was younger, I guess I didn't have too much of an issue with, but as a 30-year-old man right now, and I'm watching this clip, I'm like, holy shit, how is this not shut down? Where there's this character named Eugene. who is not like they're wrestlers, you know what I'm saying? They're playing people who are pretending to put on a fight. You know what I'm saying? That's their whole thing. They're people pretending to put on a fight, and it's supposed to be entertaining. And Eugene's gimmick, you know, they all have a gimmick. I explained Crime Time's gimmick. They're black dudes from Brooklyn who will hustle you and cheat. They'll cheat to win. They'll do all kinds of things. They'll pay off a referee or some shit. Like, you know, they're hustlers. That's their gimmick. And Eugene's gimmick is that he's fucking mentally challenged, all right? That's his gimmick. As I see this character walk on screen, I'm like, how is this not shut down right here? You know what I'm saying? Like, just seeing this gimmick of the Crime Time fucking hustlers that'll rob you from Brooklyn. I'm looking at that, and then the mentally challenged guy, and I'm like, fuck, how is this? The guy who's not actually mentally challenged, the guy who week after week pretends to be mentally challenged. How is this not shut down? And what they do in that skit, they like sell him a Royal Rumble number, and he gets number 30, which is the best number in the Royal Rumble if you're not a wrestling fan. And they like convince him like, nah man, you need a special number since you're special or whatever. They say these words. That's why I'm like, how is this not shut down right here? And they get him to buy number 1, which is the exact worst. They trade his number 30 for number 1, which is the exact worst, but they convince him that. And I'm just like, why is this not shut down? Then the next scene of the best Crime Time scenes. No knock on these people, because it's not even Crime Time that are doing the bad things. This is fucking WWE who put this shit on week after week. And I'm just like, how is this shit not shut down? You niggas said to me, you know it's not real. Nigga, they got a dude week after week pretending to be mentally challenged. And you niggas kept saying to me, you know it's not real. You know they're not really punching him. What the fuck are you telling me right now? Why are you complaining about that shit? Complain about all this other shit, all right? This is the most ignorant, ridiculous shit. And it's like I used to watch this shit every week. But mind you, I was more so interested in the wrestling. Like, I was a big fan of, like, Jeff Hardy and how much he sold getting his ass kicked in the ring. That was interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? I was more so interested in the physical, what people were doing in the ring. That was more interesting to me. But people would say to me, you know it's not real. So I didn't even pay attention too much to these fucking skits. But so, like, this next skit, my nigga, is Crime Time saying, like, they're selling a steak dinner or whatever. And then it cuts to this other wrestler, Viscera, like with a bottle of A1 sauce, getting ready to eat his dinner, and he takes like the lid off the tray or whatever, and his food's gone. He's like, shit. And then it cuts to them saying like if you need some, it's for Mother's Day, and it's like maybe your mom's not hungry, maybe your mom likes to have the other type of fun. We got prescription drugs, right? And they pull out a fucking Ziploc bag full of like pills, and they're saying they're gonna sell that. Then it cuts to fucking Eugene, the wrestler, the guy who pretends to be mentally challenged week after week, fucking banging his head up against the fucking lockers, rolling around on the floor, just going fucking insane. Like, losing his mind because all those pills. And I'm just like, how is this not shut down? One. Number two, why did you niggas just say to me, you know it's not real? Alright? This is the fucking most ignorant shit I've ever seen, my nigga. This is garbage. This is garbage TV. And y'all let me watch it. Talking about the wrong shit, my nigga. Tell me to focus on the other shit. Even as a young kid, I feel like I was like aware enough where I would have been like, holy shit, that's low-key fucked up. But I mean, I guess I was aware. I was aware that the guy was Eugene and pretending to be mentally challenged. You know what I'm saying? I was aware of that. It's just wild, you know? It's just wild. we let that go on, and I went to the shows. That character was there, and I still went to the shows. So that's just how it was, ladies and gentlemen, back in the day. That's how that show was. I don't know. This nigga Joe Biden wildin'. This nigga Joe Biden is wildin'. You know what this nigga Joe Biden said? Joe Biden was talking to Charlemagne the God. I guess they were doing like a Skype interview for the Breakfast Club, nigga. And I guess he was like saying if Charlemagne or I think he was saying if Charlemagne was on the fence about voting for, or even maybe just black people were on the fence about voting for him or Trump, then you ain't black. And it's like, nigga, I didn't know you had the black vote locked down like that, nigga. I don't even fuck with you like that. I ain't never fucked with you like that. You know what I'm saying? Obama picked you out of nowhere, bruh. I felt like Obama, even though I don't fuck with Hillary like that, I felt like he should have put Hillary on the ticket. That's what I wanted. But he put Biden on the ticket, whatever. I felt like Hillary should have got put on that ticket. That would have been dope as fuck to have the first black president and then boom, here's Hillary Clinton. That would have been some impactful shit right there. But he went with Biden instead. Unfortunately. And nigga, you ain't got the black vote, alright? You don't have it. You don't have it? You ain't never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now it's time for a break. My coworker, one of my employees was saying the other day, because they play on the radio that song, and but they don't play that part. The now it's time for a break. Never gonna get it, never gonna. They don't play that part, and this was appropriate to throw it back in there. But yeah. You didn't have my vote then, my nigga. You're not gonna get my vote now by like acting like you already got the black vote locked up, my nigga. How? I thought we could still vote for Bernie. Am I wrong? I thought he said, yo, I ain't out. Shit is going on. Shit just got real. There's a pandemic. Everything's shut down. Life was one way and now it's another. We ain't talking about no nigga. I ain't talking about no election right now. Postpone that shit. And still keep Bernie on the ballot. Because I think more people would be more likely to get behind Bernie after all this is over. You know? More people would be more likely to get behind Andrew Yang after this. If you're paying attention. I put in this tournament, I put Conor McGregor versus Mike Perry. I think that'd be a fun fight in real life. You know? I think it'd be a fun fight. So, Joe Biden apologized, but I don't care. He apologized, but I don't care. He apologized, but I don't care. Nah, you didn't have my vote before, and then you just gonna say some real condescending ass shit like you ain't black if you, nigga. You don't have the vote locked up. And I'm pretty sure we can still, I could at the end of the day write in Bernie Sanders. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, write in Bernie Sanders. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You niggas was like, oh, I guess, yeah, you niggas was like, oh, nigga, you ain't finna talk about UFC this week? You been talking about UFC for a long ass time, nigga. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about UFC. I just got the UFC on in the background. I'm interested. We got Francis Ngannou talking about fighting John Bones Jones, and I wasn't gonna mention this before, you know, Francis Ngannou versus John Bones Jones. I wasn't gonna mention it, but I thought it was all like talk, you know what I'm saying? But then it really kind of ramped up. They were both really talking like send the contracts, but apparently they both were saying the UFC is unwilling to pay for that super fight. They're unwilling to pay John more money to move up. And that's when you knew it was real. These men are sitting here really ready to fight. You could get the light heavyweight champion John Jones moving up. What's interesting here is Dana White had publicly said in the past that had John Jones moved up to heavyweight when he's ready, they were going to pay him like life changing money to finally move up to heavyweight. And now that he's ready to do it, they said they are not willing to pay him any more money than he already makes to compete at light heavyweight. Even though it was already stated that they were going to pay him life changing money to move to heavyweight. Now they went back on it. What I saw that was very interesting was in comparison in fighting and in MMA and boxing, John Bones Jones, all right, so this is, if you want to see why these fighters are trying to, you're like, dude, you're already making so much money. Why are you being so greedy? John Jones, for his last fight at UFC 247, made $500,000 for that fight, while Canelo Alvarez, the boxer, Canelo Alvarez, maybe you should know him because he just made $35 million for his last boxing match. Around the same time. So you see the disparity in pay in the two sports. You probably, I would say John Bones Jones is, I guess he hasn't reached like household name status, but I feel like more people are just kind of aware of him than they would be of Canelo. I feel like at this point, I don't think boxing is at the forefront. I think UFC is more at the forefront than any boxing or organization. People don't know like about WBO or they don't know. All right, they don't know. So, damn, Mike Perry might knock Connor out. Let's go, Mike. Let's go. Yeah. So I don't know. I wish they would like switch up. As I've said here many times, the fighters don't get paid enough. It's ridiculous. When you look at it, when it breakdowns, like you watch a guy go out there and put on a great performance, and at the end of that win, if he's lucky, he might walk away with $5,000 after everybody gets their cut, after everything goes where it needs to be. He might walk out of there with $5,000, and hopefully he's not injured and he can fight again at some point, if not like recovering for another month or two, and then booking a fight so he can hopefully pay his bills. Like, it's a pretty crazy game. I think especially if you sign a contract to fight for the UFC, I think at that point you should be getting a bigger cut, a bigger payday, just because of how much revenue the company brings in. Conor McGregor was talking about how being the GOAT, best pound for pound fighter out of active fighters, and he says he's number 2 right behind Anderson Silva, and it's not a debate. John Jones says he'll let the fans talk about this. He's not going to argue. And Nate Diaz said, like, well, he submitted the pound for pound best, so he's the baddest out here. And then Jorge Masvidal chimes in and says, yo, I beg to differ. Let's run it back. I'm like, nigga, y'all better run it back, nigga. I hope you niggas run it back. I can't wait for that rematch. But fucking Khabib was chiming in. This is all niggas can do right now, is just chime in. I mean, it's not all they can do. UFC's the only thing going on right now, if we really want to know about it. The NBA is talking about possibly resuming at Disney in Florida. So hopefully, if that happens, we can get some NBA games pretty soon here. Maybe in a month or two, we can get some NBA. Probably in 2 months, we can get some NBA. So who knows? I just think it would be pretty sad if if the season resumed, the Milwaukee Bucks go on to win a championship, and then we cannot celebrate with the team. We can't really celebrate together at all. That would be pretty sad for me, all right? As a lifetime Milwaukee Bucks fan, I was there when we won like 15 games, 16 games, or, I was there when Giannis was a rookie. And motherfuckers were saying he was overrated. I'm like, nah, man, you're not watching him every game. I'm watching him play, and I'm like, yo, this man's about to be something. All right, we can see it there. When I'm going to every game, that's why, like, Middleton was my favorite player from, like, early on when he came onto the team. He's been my favorite player, and people would argue, like, they would laugh. I'd be like, yo, Middleton's the best player we have on the team. And they would laugh at me, and then all of a sudden the stats and everything, the numbers started to reflect it. How great he was everywhere, how good he is, like, when he's on the floor, like, how much he improved, how much the team improves when he's on the floor. He's just, like, a little inconsistent. You know, that's it. That's the one knock against him. But the boy can hoop, all right? The boy can hoop. And it's because I was at the games every day. I was at the games. If they had little events where they were scrimmaging, I was at those events. I was always watching these people live. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I had a better opinion of these than the people who were just watching the few games that they could see on TV. I was there at the games. I was there at the practices. I was there early watching the people put up shots. I get to the games early, get food. You get a free drink when you get there early. You pretend you're the designated driver. You get a free soda or whatever. Go there, get something to eat, get a soda. Maybe have an alcoholic beverage. I'm a 30-year-old man. You know, I do those things, and so I would see these people play and perform at a different level and more frequently than these people who would argue with me. And now we see how good Middleton is. There's no debating. People don't debate it anymore, but for the longest time people did. And there's another I told you so. That's most of this podcast is I told you so's. That's how I feel. I just want to see some good fights. I want to see Conor fight some motherfuckers. I just want to see I just want some fights to happen soon. I want Kobe to fight. We got a card coming up next week, ladies and gentlemen. On ESPN, you just gotta have like ESPN Plus. I think it's or maybe you gotta have ESPN for the main card. I don't have ESPN for the main card, so we'll see what happens. Actually I do have ESPN. We do have ESPN. I'm tripping. So yeah, I'll be at the crib watching that and I'm off. Main event is Tyron Woodley versus Gilbert Burns. I think that's going to be a real good fight, but I think hopefully... So when I'm looking at the stats, like, Gilbert Burns is more accurate with his strikes than Woodley, but I think Woodley just, with his veteran savvy, is going to be... Mike Perry just knocked out Conor McGregor in my little simulation tournament for the king of the welterweights. That's highly unlikely, but anywho... That's unfortunate because it was like the winner of this fight was most likely going to fight Nate Diaz in the next fight, which I was just trying to give these fighters softball fights so I can get these super fights in the next round before the even better super fights after that for depending on who wins those fights. But I guess Conor just got knocked out by Mike Perry in the third or fourth round. So that's how that was. So I'm going with Woodley versus Gilbert Burns. You got Tyron Woodley versus Gilbert Burns. I'm going Woodley here. I think Woodley is just going to hit him he's going to have the veteran savvy here. He's just going to be better all around. Gilbert Burns is the more accurate striker and more frequent thrower, so more frequent lander. Well, he throws more punches and he's pretty accurate with the punches that he throws. So that'll be something interesting to watch out for because that volume from Usman was something that shut down Woodley. So that could be an X factor, but regardless right now, I'm still going to go with Woodley. Hopefully he'll be able to work around that. We got the next fight, a heavyweight fight, Blagoy Ivanov versus Augusto Sakai. I got my nigga Blagoy. He got robbed against Derek Lewis in his last fight. And I think he should be on a 3-fight win streak right now. That's my personal opinion. So I'm of the opinion he's going for win number 4 right now in the heavyweight division. So I got Blagoy winning that fight. Next up in the welterweight division, you got Kevin Holland taking on Daniel Rodriguez. And what I think is interesting about this fight is Kevin Holland just fought. He's going to fight. By the time this fight happens, it'll be a 14-day difference from his last fight. He fought at the very last UFC event, and now he's going to fight at this one. That fight was pretty quick for him. to be honest though, he won that first fight in a quick like first round stoppage with some heavy knees to the body, and so now he fought that fight at 185 pounds, and now 14 days later he's gonna fight at 170. I'm rooting for him. He's the black guy. As I told you guys, I always root for the black guy, and I'm rooting for fucking Kevin Holland. He looked like a beast. As I said last week, he finally showed that, I'm pretty sure it was last week. He finally showed that intensity that I felt like he lacked, and I'm really excited to see him move down the heavyweight. Move down the welterweight, and really show his skills there in 2 weeks' notice. Then at lightweight, next fight. I'm moving downward, but anywho. Next fight at lightweight, you got Roosevelt Roberts versus Brock Weaver. I think this is going to be a real good fight here. I got Brock Weaver in this one. This should be a real scrappy one in here. I think they're going to be fucking throwing it, all right? This could be probably fight of the night. I say fight of the night candidate right there. Roosevelt Roberts versus Brock Weaver. I got 2 fight of the night candidates here, and that being one of them. Next up, you got Mackenzie Dern versus Hannah Seifers. I'm a big Hannah Seifers fan, but with the jiu-jitsu accolades of Mackenzie Dern, I gotta go with Dern. I went with Dern in her last fight, but she wasn't able to like really secure any dominant positions and do what she needed to do in that one. But I'm still gonna go with her in this one, and I think she would have hopefully improved off of the mistakes of the last fight. Hopefully. So I'm going with Mackenzie Dern, even though I'll be super hype if Hannah Seifers wins that fight. So at the main event of the preliminaries, you have Caitlin Chukagian taking on Antonina Shevchenko, which I wasn't. I just want to state that I wasn't like forgetting how to say Shevchenko. I wasn't sure how to say Antonina. I paused to make sure that I said it correctly, and I'm pretty sure I said Antonina correctly. Antonina Shevchenko, older sister of Valentina Shevchenko, who was Caitlin Chukagian's previous fight, who I think it was the second round stoppage, either second or third round stoppage, where she got her in the crucifix and just beat her up for a little bit until the ref stopped. I think I got Antonina Shevchenko taking this fight, though I think it'll be just a little bit more competitive than the fight against Valentina. But I still have Shevchenko winning this in the end. So in the end, Caitlin Chukagian should have 2 consecutive losses to 2 different Shevchenkos. Then the next fight here, it says it's a catchweight fight at 150 pounds. Billy Quarantillo versus Spike Carlisle. Going my boy Spike Carlisle. All right, Spike Carlisle. I always felt like I felt like redheads was the niggas of white people. I always felt like that. So with that said, I always root for the niggas. So I'm rooting for Spike Carlisle in this one. I have to. All right, and plus he's just fucking scrappy. He's funky out there. He's got a funky style out there, and I think he'll quickly overwhelm fucking Billy. I think Billy will be too overwhelmed by Spike's style. He's just funky out there. He just keeps that pressure on you. He keeps throwing something at you. Like, I'm a big fan of Spike Carlisle, and I always felt like gingers were the niggas of white people. So shout out to my boy Spike Carlisle. I'm going for Spike Carlisle in this one versus Billy Q. Light heavyweight, you got Mahal Hill versus Klidson Abreu, and I'm going with my boy Mahal Hill, as you know, not just because he's black, but no, actually, I'm not going with Jamal. No, I'm going with him, actually. I'm going with him because he's black, because I think this is my second pick here for Fight of the Night. So, what was my previous pick? It was not Was it Kevin Holland? No, Brock Weaver versus Roosevelt Roberts at lightweight, 155. That's one of my picks for Fight of the Night. And my second pick for Fight of the Night is Mahal Hill versus Klidson Abreu at light heavyweight 205. Sorry. I'm excited for this one, all right? This is going to be a real good fight. If it stays standing, I think Hill clearly has the advantage. If it stays standing, but I don't think it will. But they're both just fucking animals on the ground. And Abreu's fucking game plan is to take it to the ground. So they're just both monsters everywhere. I think this will be a great fight. I hope it goes the full 3 rounds and it's just fucking brutality. Next up, you got at flyweight Tim Elliott taking on Brandon Royval. Sorry, I'm real gassy there with this fucking drink. Pause on 1 second. What's interesting, I'm back. What's interesting about this Tim Elliott versus Brandon Royval fight was I actually was watching highlights for the fight, but right before this, Louis Smolka versus Casey Kenny, and so watching that and watching and then just like watching highlights of Tim Elliott and just like knowing the veteran Tim Elliott, I'm definitely gonna go with Tim Elliott in here. I think this is Brandon Royval's first fight at the UFC. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it is. I think pressure and straightforward scrappiness will just be too much for Royval in this one, and I think Elliott will make it an early night. We got Louis Smolka versus Casey Kenny, and I got Smolka here because he's just a fucking monster on the ground. But though I've looked at clips of Casey Kenny, and he's looks more than capable on the ground. No disrespect to Casey Kenny, he looks more than capable on the ground, and he could pull it off. I'll give him that. He looks more than capable, more than ready for this game. But I think that just the experience there of Smolka, I think he will, and I don't even know the records. I could be misspeaking there on experience. But I just think from what I've seen in the videos that I've seen, just like briefly, I'm gonna go with Smolka there on the ground. Though Casey Kenny looks like a beast in his own right, but I'm gonna say that I think Louis Smolka is just a little more active on the ground. He's a little more active in those scraps on the ground, and he's just doing a little bit more. And then finally, we're getting to the first fight of the night, which would be Chris Gutierrez taking on Vince Morales. I'm going with Gutierrez in this one. He's coming off a 2-fight win streak, and he's just a much more accurate striker with a great takedown defense. That's where I'm going for that one, ladies and gentlemen. You know, my wife was asking me, I forget what movie we were talking about, but I guess she was like, "Oh, were you not into that?" Because it's not that I'm necessarily not into things usually. It's just like I don't know. I just didn't like a lot of those like kid movies when I was a kid. I liked certain kind of kid movies like Page Master, Brave Little Toaster, and shit like that. And we brought up I brought up Homeward Bound, and I was like, I thought that was kind of cool. At first, I was like, I thought that was kind of cool until I watched it when I was older, and I saw that like the mouths don't move when they talk. It's just a voice playing. And I was like, that's pretty whack. I was like, I don't know why I liked it as a kid, but as I got going, and I was like, but remember when Shadow got stabbed in the face with the porcupine? And she's like, yeah, it was really sad. I'm like, yo, it was the saddest moment, like, when he got stabbed with the porcupine. I think to save the cat. Like, they didn't like each other, and he fucking did that in order to get the cat out of there. It was fucking real heartwarming moment, you know what I'm saying? I was sitting there trying to hate on Homeward Bound as an adult, but I'm, like, thinking back on it, like, holy shit, like, remember when Shadow saved the cat from that porcupine? Got stabbed in the face. That was a pretty fucking hard moment, you know? And then I'm like, yeah, the mouths don't move when they talk, but goddamn, when they got that hill over there and they're sitting there and all the people are like, oh man, I guess we'll never see our animals again. And then fucking, here comes the cat. Couple dogs running across that hill, nigga. That was a feel good ass moment. It felt good just talking about that shit, nigga. If you niggas ain't never seen Homeward Bound, where they lose their animals, go check it out. And then after you fall in love with that movie, my nigga, go and get Homeward Bound 2, where these terrible pet owners lose their animals in San Francisco. Then go watch Homeward Bound fucking 3, where they lose their pets at Michael Vick's house. No, that last one doesn't happen, but that'd be fucking hilarious if it did. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the social medias. You've been great. Why not? I'm gonna give you guys the social medias. This is episode 40, Streets on Fire. If you guys want to follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter, the handle is at Babylon5Pod. If you want to follow my personal accounts on Instagram and Twitter, it's at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow the podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, go ahead and follow the podcast at babylon5s.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, nigga, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. If you got Xbox One, my gamer tag is SauceBoss414. Go ahead and add a brother if you want to play some games. Check out my merchandise at teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. You can watch me play with myself at twitch.tv/BOF. That's not the right one. You can watch me play with myself at twitch.tv/Babylon5, and you can be my patrons at patreon.com/Babylon5pod. And that's where we at. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I hope you guys are staying safe, being courteous of each other's, care about each other, show empathy. These are troubling times. It's hard to navigate. And, it's just hard to navigate. So, hope you guys are staying safe. See you guys next week. I'm your faithful host, Jermaine Event. And, yeah, I'm out. Peace.